Good afternoon, everybody. Those eagle-eyed viewers of you will see that this is not an S1000RR, and that in fact today I am riding, as the title of this video suggests, a BMW R9T Racer. So got this bike as a loaner just while my own bike is in getting a little bit of work done. So I thought I'd bring this thing out for a spin, because it's always something that I've kind of looked at and gone, oh, that's a cool bike, but I've never actually gotten the chance to ride it. So yeah, today is that chance. It's pretty different, alright. It's not what I'm used to, that's for sure. Just a bit of specs on the bike. This bike has an 1170cc oil-cooled boxer engine. It's putting out about 110 bhp and 86 foot-pounds of torque. It's kind of a real retro style bike. It's what's this lad doing? Jesus. It's shaft driven, and as I said, yeah, it's a retro style bike. It's kind of a real throwback to the kind of 1970s cafe racer look, I suppose. The first thing you'll notice for anybody going out to sit on one of these bikes is the riding position's very extreme. Like, it's almost as extreme as my S1000RR, but kind of more low down. Like, my elbows aren't at full stretch there, but they're kind of close enough to it. Like, that's, my right arm is straight there now, if you can see that. Or the left arm is better. It's pretty cool. It's kind of old but modern, I suppose, is the look I suppose BMW were going for with this. I'm going to jump up the front here. I can buy all these guys. So yeah, the riding position is fairly extreme. It's quite bouncy. The seat is small, man. I've got a big arse, so you know, I have about a third of a cheek on each side, actually on the seat, probably maybe half, not a lot. The seat is smaller than the S1000RR anyway, that's for sure. So yeah, it's quite torquey. There's no quick shifter on this, hence the reason I revved the shit out of it there. So one thing I've noticed about this is that, so this is in neutral now, okay? First. That's in first now, there was no click at all. So unless you kind of, you know, actually look down and see that the neutral light has gone out and you're in, and you see the number 1 on the dashboard just there, you know, it's kind of hard to know if you're in first or not. But the rest of the gears kind of are okay, so you can feel the kind of good click between 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. There's no quick shifter on this, so I'm kind of missing gears the odd time, thinking I'm on the 1000RR, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. So I'm just going for a quick spin around Howth just to see what this thing can kind of do, how it feels. If these roadworks ever got out of the way. What the hell are they doing? They're tarring the footpath. Jesus Christ. So the suspension is quite bouncy as well. There's a lot more forgiving than the S1000RR, obviously. So first, one thing I've noticed as well, when you start this bike up, kind of jerks to the right because of the way the flywheel is, and the fact it's a boxer engine and it's shaft driven, that it kind of, or even if you're stopped at the lights and you rev it a bit, you can feel it pull to the right a little bit. It leans to the right. It's loud, man. There's a good few pops and bangs out of it as well, kind of when you're on the gas. Yeah, so this bike is a real seems to be a real head turner, I suppose. If that's kind of bike you'd be going for, you're looking to make a statement if you buy a bike like this. It's not fast, okay? I know it's called a R9T Racer, okay, but this is not a fast bike. It's quick-ish, but it's not 600cc sports bike kind of fast. It's more of a kind of a cruiser. But even at that, given the riding position is so extreme on this bike, I don't think you'd be cruising for very long on it. I drove it home from Joe Duffy BMW yesterday, and at the end I did feel my right hand was kind of getting a little bit sore, whatever way the position I was holding the throttle in, or the bars in, should I say. It's loud as anything, man. It's very, very loud for the type of bike it is. Like, this has got a stock exhaust on it, and it's loud. Like, I can hear the thing buzzing away there, and it's a real head turner kind of bike. It's like, as I said, it's a bike, you know, that you want to make a statement with, I suppose, whatever that statement may be. So you just overtook that guy there. It was kind of, power wasn't really there to overtake. Well, it was, but it's obviously not the S1000RR power. Originally when I went out on this bike, I kind of thought it was a bit difficult to handle. I thought it understeered a little bit. But I think it was just me, and my kind of riding style is not set up to set up. There's no set up. Obviously my riding style is a little bit different, and it's not really, I suppose, geared for this bike. But once I kind of adjusted my riding style a bit, like just kind of stay in the seat and just swing it down, it goes around the bends grand. Like, it's good fun on the bends. So this bike is Euro 4 compliant as far as I'm aware, and it has ABS and all that kind of stuff on it too, which is, you know, I think legally obliged now of all manufacturers post 2015 to have ABS on their bikes, or maybe 2016 it was, I'm not sure. In any case, it's on it. The brakes are good. It's got Brembo brakes on the front. They stop the bike well enough. This bike I don't think has been used in a while, and maybe the front is a bit squeaky when I first got it, but it seems to kind of been okay now. But this bike is the kind of bike that will turn heads, basically. So you park this bike up, and people just look at it and go, "Oh, that's really cool looking, that's really..." Now, this is the other thing I can't do. I can't get the fucking kickstand down. God damn it. How do you get the kickstand down this thing? There we go. So that's the thing. If you've got Alpine Stars SMX boots on, it's difficult to get the kickstand down on this. So it's real kind of peculiar, modern yet retro looking kind of bike. So another question kind of I've thought of about this is that, is this a bike you would turn up on to a cafe racer type, you know, meeting or event? Would you arrive on one of these with a lot of retro cafe racers with their old 1970s bikes? I don't think you would. I think you'd be kind of heckled and laughed at, maybe. Not laughed at, but you would definitely be heckled. They'd be like, "That's not a cafe racer." But, you know, kind of is. Yeah, it ticks all the boxes anyway, except that it's not from the 1970s, I suppose. But apart from that, it does what it says in the tin. So, who would buy this? I'd say the person that buys a bike like this is somebody who's kind of just gone into their 30s, or maybe mid-30s even, and, you know, has a beard or a mustache and has a lot of product in said beard or mustache, wears a tweed jacket and winkle tip kind of shoes and stuff like that. That kind of person. An open face helmet with goggles. You know, that's the kind of person that would buy a bike like this, I suppose. Make of that what you will. Would I buy one of these bikes? I am not one of them people. I don't have a beard. I don't have winkle tips. I don't have a tweed jacket. I might buy a bike like this. It would depend on a number of circumstances. The first being if I had a load of spare cash hanging around. Then probably yes, I might. And space to put it. Probably yes, I would. I would buy a bike like this. I think it's pretty cool looking. It's I like unique. I like things that are different. Like, and if anybody who kind of knows me knows that the bike I had before the 1000 RR was an RC8R, which was an extremely unique and rare bike, and this kind of falls into the same bracket, despite being made by a company like BMW, which kind of makes thousands and thousands of bikes every year. This is a rare enough one. I haven't seen one of these bikes out on the road, so it is rare enough. The thing is, though, as far as I'm aware, I think BMW are moving away from the R9T now at this stage. There's kind of three versions of this bike, I suppose. There's the standard R9T, there's the R9T Scrambler, which has the knobbly tyres, and believe it or not, there's muck on the tank, but it's actually painted on muck, so it's painted to look dirty, like you've been driving it off-road. And then there's the Racer, which kind of has the bubble at the front and the big light in front of that. Back to would I buy one? Yeah, I probably would buy one. If I had the money and the space. It's a pretty cool bike. I like it. At first I was kind of, I'm not sure about this. The reason being, I kind of felt it was difficult to handle. I had to manhandle a little bit, but I suppose that's just the way it is with this, and I've kind of gotten used to it now, so I'm okay kind of swinging it around a bit, which is good. Right, I actually took off in third there, believe it or not, and this thing just pulls. The torque is crazy on it. I keep missing the gears because of the quick shifter. Because there's no quick shifter, should I say. And just another thing on the type of buyer as well. Obviously, I've kind of framed someone that kind of likes the look and, of being on a bike, but isn't kind of majorly into bikes the way kind of the rest of us bikers are. But the fact that this is shaft driven as well, and is, it's I suppose it's basic enough in its design, bar the few safety features that are on it. I mean, there's no cleaning chain or anything on this, which is kind of one thing I've often found, that when I talk to bikers, is that anybody who has a shaft drive on their bike has made a conscious decision to buy a bike with a shaft drive, because they don't want the hassle of cleaning a chain or any of that crap. And in fairness, cleaning a chain and lubing a chain every week and a half or 2 weeks, depending on your riding, is a pain in the arse. So I would understand why someone wouldn't want to do that, which kind of totally fits in with what this bike is. It's kind of like if you wanted to drive one of those cars. This retro look, which is coming back now. It sounds like a World War II fighter plane. Maybe a Messerschmitt BF 109. You can see from my shadow there ahead of me just a second ago that my legs are split right out. Like, it's an unusual riding position. It kind of reminds me of the Chanel ad where Keira Knightley is riding the Cafe Racer type bike. It's kind of like the modern incarnation of that bike, I suppose. Although a perfume ad for women really isn't really a great seller for a bike. Probably not. Maybe BMW should have thought about that. I like the old style dials with the LCD inserts as well. It's kind of a nice touch. It's kind of retro, but not retro at the same time. The thing is as well, right, if you like kind of the whole 1970s Cafe Racer thing, if that's you, if you buy a bike like that, it's, 50-year-old bike now at this stage, you are going to have problems with that bike. You will not have, one would hope you would not have problems with this bike. Hopefully there wouldn't be as much maintenance on it. I know obviously this bike is new, so it'll probably cost a bit more the initial purchase, but your overall maintenance costs would be down long term. Going downhill off the gas, there's a few nice pops and bangs out of the bike too, which is kind of good. I'd say if you had an aftermarket exhaust on it, it'd be quite loud indeed. That's the great thing about bikes. You don't have to worry about queues of traffic. Yeah, people are looking at it. As I said, this thing's a head turner, completely and utterly. It's kind of, you're making a statement, and you know, this is the kind of bike I ride. I ride a modern cafe racer with a boxer engine that's air cooled. It's a pretty cool statement, in fairness, if you like boxer engines, cafe racers, and things that are modern but look retro. I'd love to take this thing up to Lara maybe some Sunday morning. I'd say the abuse you'd get would be unreal. You'd be like, that's not a real cafe racer. It's not a real one. What are you doing with that? Yeah, I have to say, I like it. I do like it. But I know I'm more of a sports bike person at this stage of my life. Mid-30s at the moment, so this might be something I jump onto maybe when I'm 40, if I wanted something a little bit more sedate, but didn't want to go onto a 600cc bike, because why would you go from a 600 to why would you go from a 1000cc to a 600? So it's for me, but it's not for me yet, if that makes sense. The other thing about this is you're effectively buying a new BMW. Okay, so it's going to come with a 2-year warranty, and a lot of people kind of in the motorcycle circle know that so long as you continue getting your bike serviced with BMW, that BMW will look after you should something terrible go wrong. Which, let's face it, with bikes, it doesn't matter what brand bike you buy, there will always be some sort of issue, whatever the case may be. But it's nice to know that BMW will look after you. I'm not saying other manufacturers won't look after you either. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, I'm just saying that BMW will. In my experience, anyway. In particular, the lads, Joe Duffy, they seem to be fairly sound lads. So this bike is on its way back now. My own bike is ready, and yeah, I've enjoyed the couple of days I've had on it. It's a good bike. I like the engine. I like the noise out of it in particular. One of the things I like about it, the fact that it's so niche. It's so rare looking, and you know, there's not many of these about. I don't like the kickstand. The kickstand's a killer. Just back on the niche thing. The nicheness of the bike is the thing I like the most about it. It's also the thing I like the least about it. Usually that means what that means is that around resale time, these niche bikes are difficult to move. I experienced it myself with my old RC8R. I had it up for sale for a number of months, and everybody thought, oh, that is a lovely, amazing bike. But then when you say to them, well, you know, do you want to buy it? It's up for sale. And I'll say, oh, no, I wouldn't buy that. So that's kind of one of the problems that these niche bikes, it's one of the trade-offs that you have with these kind of niche bikes. But apart from that, yeah, as I said, I've enjoyed the 3 days on it. It's been great. The only thing I have a little niggle about in terms of its design is that kickstand. It's just in the worst place possible. But that's basically it. So this is going back into Joe Duffy now. I'm going to pick up my own 1000 RR. But yeah, this is a great bike. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Would be my official score, I suppose. But yeah, that's it for this one anyway. And thanks for watching. And stay tuned, and I'll have another video up again soon.